Joe Biden was best pal with John Kerry. This is in 2009. And it happened just in time as Joe Biden was sworn in as vice president. Their sons decide to get together. Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, and John Kerry's stepson, Christopher Hines. Now, here's a father and son team that decide that the fathers should pal around and the sons should pal around. So now John Kerry and Joe Biden are pals. Now, remember, this happened just as he's being sworn in as vice president. John Kerry is going to be made Secretary of State. And the two sons get together and they decide we're going to go into business together. They bring in a third partner, the roommate from Yale, Devon Archer. Now, Devon is a guy who co-chaired John Kerry's campaign finance committee when he ran for president in 2004. So the trio decide to do something none of them have any experience in whatsoever. The three of them decide we're going to start an international private equity firm called Rosemont Capital, and we're going to have several different branches, including one that's called Rosemont Seneca Partners with an office in Georgetown, which happens to be right down the street from John Kerry's mansion. And then another one that's right by Joe Biden's vice presidential home. Now, it's important to know here that the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act does not prevent foreign companies from hiring or making special deals with children of U.S. government officials. That law should be changed. All right? However, these business deals, man, they seem awfully shady. And they happen to coincide with visits to the Ukraine from Joe Biden and John Kerry. It's weird. So tonight I'm going to go over all of this, and I'm going to tie it all together with the whistleblower. But I want to give you the outline here of what this really is, this whistleblower on Trump and Ukraine. What they say is he wanted dirt on Joe Biden. Well, I don't think it's unreasonable for the United States president to say, was there dirty dealings going on with Joe Biden and his son in Ukraine? And if so, we would like to know the information. Now, I don't like it being used for political reasons, but the questions should be asked. Now, Joe Biden says he threatened him. He threatened him. Well, there's no evidence of that. The foreign minister said that's not what happened. So where's your evidence on that? This is just trying to turn this around to make it look like Donald Trump did something to kick dust over what Joe Biden did. Now, Joe Biden said on the record he's never talked to his son about any business dealings. None. I want you to ask yourself if that sounds reasonable. As soon as the vice president was sworn into office in 2009, John Kerry's stepson and Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, decide they're going to go into business together and they're going to do a private equity firm. Now, none of them had any private equity firm kind of experience at all. So we're going to do this. All right, now there's nothing necessarily illegal about the business deals I'm going to tell you about, even if the wheels of these deals were greased by John Kerry and Joe Biden in Ukraine and China. But it is such a blurry ethical line, I don't even know how you make heads or tails of this. What Hunter Biden did may actually technically be legal, but it is not something the vice president should ever allow on his watch. All right, I'll get to the Rosemont Seneca Company, but the first stop on the Biden's corruption tour is Ukraine. Two characters you need to know about. Former Ukrainian government minister Mykola Jolzevsky and an oligarch named Ihor Kolomoisky. I guess. He's the head of Burisma. Now, this is the gas and oil company. It's the largest private natural gas company in the Ukraine. So this Kolomoisky takes over Burisma. Zolochevsky created Burisma in 2006, and he created it through a complicated web of offshore maneuvering. It's very common in the Ukraine in business practices, but it ends up being run by this oligarch. I'm just going to call him Ihor. Ihor the oligarch. He now runs this offshore business, and it's the largest gas company in Ukraine. All right. This guy has a very shady, violent reputation. His thug resume is extensive. He is also on a government visa ban list, so he can't even come into the United States. He can't legally visit the United States. That's how bad this guy is. When Russia invaded Crimea in 2014, President Obama made Joe Biden the point man for the Ukraine. So Joe Biden was on the phone with the Ukrainian leaders 2 or 3 times a month. He made 5 trips to the Ukraine between 2014 and 2017. Now, Foreign Policy magazine said no one in the U.S. government has wielded more influence over Ukraine than Vice President Joe Biden. In 2014, roughly a month after the Russian invasion, Devon Archer, you remember him? He's the partner with the Kerry and Biden boys. Devon Archer visited Joe Biden at the White House. Remember, this is the partner. So we don't know what the meeting was about. They probably were just, exchanging tales about how crazy their boys are. But 5 days later, 5 days after the, exchange of the cookie recipes in the White House, Joe Biden landed in Kyiv for a high-level meeting with the Ukrainian government officials. He brought with him specific plans for a program to assist the Ukrainian national gas industry, as well as details of $1 billion in U.S. assistance and loans. So I'm bringing with me a whole buttload of money where you can help your natural gas industry. Isn't that helpful? And Burisma happens to be your largest natural gas company. Isn't that crazy? Now, part of the energy portion of the program read, U.S. technical experts will help Ukraine develop a public-private investment initiative, to increase conventional gas production from existing fields to boost domestic energy supply. Now, coincidentally, just the day after Biden arrives in the Ukraine with this big American deal to help with investment in natural gas, Devon Archer, the partner, with Biden and Kerry, he's named to the board of Burisma.
What a coincidence.
That is such a coincidence. It is. It's like... What's going to happen next? I mean, who knows? Maybe Ilhan Omar will marry her brother. Such a crazy coincidence. Then he's in the company with the oligarch that's not permitted to be, here in the United States. Then 3 weeks later, Hunter Biden also joins the board.
Huh.
Right? Okay.
These are unusual coincidences.
Well, what's really crazy is the connection between Joe Biden coming in and saying, "Hey, we're going to help you retool your natural gas industry through public-private partnerships." And the largest natural gas company privately held is the one his son is now on the board of.
No.
But it's only because both of them, their experience in the natural gas industry.
Oh, it's extensive. Like goes back
No, they didn't
minutes?
have any. No, they didn't have
Not
any.
even minutes worth?
Not even
No,
minutes
okay.
worth. They didn't have any. But their investment house that they had, you know, they also didn't have any experience in investment houses.
Just quick
either.
learners.
They're just very
quick learners.
Yeah. So they joined the Burisma board right before the British government announced that it was freezing the London bank accounts belonging to Burisma. So it's such a corrupt company that London, right after Hunter Biden is on, they freeze the bank accounts. Now, 9 months later, the British government finally gave up and unfroze the accounts when they couldn't get Ukrainian prosecutors to cooperate and give them any information. Now, after Hunter Biden joined the Burisma board, the company's owner, remember the oligarch? Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was suddenly taken off the U.S. ban list. He could come into the United States. And you know what? The ban wasn't the only thing that disappeared. The $1.8 billion loan the U.S. promised to the Ukraine, most of that was put into Ukraine's largest bank. But it's owned by the corrupt oligarch that also owned and ran Burisma. So all the $1.8 billion that we said we're gonna send over, we're gonna help you, it went to the oligarch's bank, and that disappeared too.
A lot of coincidences here.
There's a lot of coincidences. But anybody who's looked at this has said there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. We're going to have the whole story tonight. It gets worse from there. We'll have the whole story tonight, 5 o'clock. Please join us on the Blaze TV, blazetv.com/Beck.